Hello and welcome to my crochet penguin tutorial. For this tutorial you are going to need worsted weight yarn in a skin tone and a face tone of your choice, an outfit color, and if a beak color, or you will want to use a safety beak. You will also need some safety eyes and some polyfill, along with a stitch marker, a darning needle, and whatever your hook size of choice is for worsted weight yarn and amigurumi. I will be using a 3.5 millimeter hook, but you are welcome to use whatever your preference is. The first thing that you're going to want to grab is a stitch marker and your skin tone. In penguins, classically, their skin tone is black, if that helps you to know what color yarn you'd like to use. I, however, am going to be using blue, and I'm using this brushed yarn, so it is like very soft and kind of fuzzy. I think it will be really cute. And you're going to want to grab your crochet hook. So we're going to start out by making the arms of our penguin so that we can put those in right into the work as we build the body, and then you will not have to sew them on. So the first thing that you're going to start out with doing is making a magic circle. If you do not know how to make a magic circle and you need a tutorial for that, I will link one down in the description box below to walk you through it. But once you've got your magic circle, we are just going to work 4 single crochets into the magic circle. Now remember, when you're working with a magic circle, you do crochet over the tail and the side of the circle. So working over both of those, just like you would when you're normally crocheting, you're going to do 4 single crochets. And once you have those 4 single crochets, you're going to pull on that magic circle tail a little bit, not super tightly yet, leave it with a little bit of slack, just so that you can still get into this first stitch that you made. Once you pull it tight, that stitch tends to kind of disappear. So go ahead and crochet into that first stitch that you made. We are going to be working 2 single crochets into the same stitch, and this is what is called an increase. When you work 2 single crochets into the same stitch, that is a single crochet increase. All right. Once you've worked your 2 single crochets into there, feel free to put your stitch marker into that first single crochet that you made. Or if you would like to, since there aren't very many stitches at this point, if you'd rather just keep count, that is totally fine as well. Now at this point, you can go ahead and pull on your magic circle tail and give it a nice solid tug, tighten it up. And then we are going to work increases into the other 3 stitches as well. So don't forget, an increase is when you work 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So we're just going to go ahead and place 2 single crochets in each stitch. Now we had 4 stitches at the beginning of the round, and because we're increasing in each of them, you will have 8 stitches at the end of your round. And the end of your round is just when you get back to the stitch marker, or if you're not using a stitch marker, that first stitch that you made. All right, and that puts us back at the beginning of the round. And now we have 8 single crochets all the way around. Now this is super easy. We are just going to single crochet in each of the stitches. So 8 single crochets. You can pop out the stitch marker if you're using one and place a single crochet into that first stitch. And then replace the stitch marker, and that is going to be the beginning of your round. You're going to single crochet in every stitch around, and as you begin to do this, your work is going to start to cup. Don't forget, or just so you know, we want that magic circle tail that we started with to be on the inside of our work. That is what's going to make the outside of our stitches be on the outside. So that side that has your magic circle tail, see it right there? You want this to be the inside of your work. So as you're working, just dome your work like this. You can kind of stick your finger up in there and pop it out. That way that magic circle tail is on the inside of your work. And if you need to, make sure that you tighten it as you go so that it stays nice and tight. And continue to work those single crochets. When we get to that last single crochet of the round, I'm actually not going to finish my stitch. I went ahead and stopped right before that final time that you yarn over and pull through to create your last single crochet. So we're going to stop one yarn over before you end your stitch. And instead of yarning over in the same color that you're using for your skin tone, we are going to go ahead and we're going to switch to our clothing color. So whatever yarn you want to use for your clothing color, that is what you're going to yarn over in now, and you're going to pull through. What this does is it makes it so that you end the round with your new color on your hook so that we can switch from the skin tone into the clothing color. You can go ahead and trim that skin tone yarn that you were using because we are done with it for the rest of the arm. We are going to be working with this sweater color. If you would like to, you can tie together the tail that you just cut and the tail of your new color that you're tying on. That little knot will be on the inside of your work, and it is optional, but it keeps it, held together nicely for you as you're working those first stitches. So that is up to you if you would like to do that. And then we're just going to throw all of these little tails out of our way and continue working. For the first round, we are going to be doing back loop only single crochets. So you're going to work all the way around in all 8 stitches, but you're going to work only in the back loop. The back loop, when you have your work facing this way, when you're working from right to left, and if you were to look at your work from the top, you see how you are working on this side closest to you. That back loop only is the loop that is furthest from you. So you see that this is the top of your stitch, the whole top that you normally work through. You're going to work through only this back loop. All right, and we are going to single crochet in the back loop all the way around. If you'd like to, you can obviously have your stitch marker in during this color change. I didn't put mine back in just because I can easily see when I get back to the beginning of the round, since my colors are very different from each other. So right here, I'm on my 7th back loop only single crochet and doing my final back loop only single crochet. There we go. All right, and then now we are going to do a single crochet into that first stitch of the round, and we can go ahead and put our stitch marker back into there. And then we are going to increase in the next stitch. And if you don't remember, that increase is just 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And we're just still kind of pushing these tails out of our way as we go around. Once we get a little bit further up the hand or the arm, whenever you feel comfortable, you can just stick those inside. We are actually going to stuff the beginning of the hand/arm with these tails. So this is going to be the repeat for the round. We're doing a single crochet in one stitch and then an increase in the next stitch. So we just did our increase, so we're going to single crochet into the next stitch, and then we're going to place an increase of 2 single crochets into that following stitch. And this is just going to be what you repeat all the way around until you get back to your stitch marker. So you're going to be going from 8 stitches to, or not 8 stitches, how many do we have? Oh yeah, we did have 8 stitches. So you're going to be going from 8 stitches to 12. And you're going to end on an increase right before that stitch marker. All right, and then it is super simple from here. We are just going to single crochet in all 12 stitches. So pop that stitch marker out and place that single crochet in there. And you're going to single crochet in each of your stitches until you get back to that stitch marker. And this is actually almost done. Our penguin has very little arms, and you're going to make 2 of these. So once we finish it off, which I will show you how to do here in just a second, once you finish it off, you're going to want to make a second one, and then we'll move on to the body. So if you need to, you can rewind and follow along to make the second arm. Okay, so that is our final round around. Now what we're going to do is you can pop the stitch marker out. We're going to take all of these tails and shove them inside of here. Focusing on the hand, make sure the hand is nice and full, and then whatever's left over you can just have in the arm. It doesn't have to be super stuffed. If you have really, really long tails, you may want to trim them because it doesn't take a whole lot. But once you've got that stuffed into there, we are actually just going to take our arm and put the stitch that you're currently in all the way here at the far right, and you're going to sandwich these 2 layers together like this. So just push your 2 sides together. And we are going to single crochet 5 stitches across, going through both layers. So what you want to do is you want to go through the stitch on this side and through the stitch on that second side. And you're just going to do a single crochet as normal, just working through both layers at the same time. And you're going to have 5 stitches across here. And you can either push your way through both layers together, or you can always go through one layer and then go through the second layer, whatever is comfortable to you. And then that is it. You have finished your little penguin arm. So then I like to just chain 1 when I'm tying off because it creates a nice little knot. And you do not need to leave yourself a very long tail. This is just going to go inside the body when we get to it. Because we are going to crochet this right in so that you do not have to sew it on. So here is your stubby little penguin arm, and believe it or not, this is as long as it needs to be. I know it seems really short, but this is all you need. So go ahead and rewind the video if you would like to, and crochet yourself a second arm, and then meet me back and we will begin our body. And once you've got your 2 little arms done, you can go ahead and set those aside. We are going to start working on the body. And to do that, you are going to want to grab your outfit color. You will only need your outfit color for this portion of the project. So if you would like to set aside your skin tone, you can, because you're not going to need it right now. We're going to start out by making a magic circle. So go ahead and make that magic circle. And if you need a little bit of help, like I said, there is a tutorial breaking that down for you in the description box below this video. So once you've got that magic circle, we are going to go ahead and we are going to crochet 6 single crochets into our circle. Make sure you're working over the side of your circle and the tail. And just pop 6 single crochets into your magic circle. And 6. Once you've got your 6 single crochets in that magic circle, you can go ahead and grab onto your tail and gently pull it closed, but leave it open just a little bit until you have worked into that first stitch. So we are going to go over to our first stitch and we are going to place an increase into it. So that's going to be 2 single crochets into that same stitch. All right, and then you can place your stitch marker into the first single crochet that you put into that stitch. And then at this point, you can go ahead and grab onto that magic circle tail if you'd like to, and finish closing that up. Give it a nice solid tug, or you can wait until the end of this round. It doesn't really matter, but you will obviously want to close that up. And we are just going to place an increase into every stitch. So you have 6 stitches currently, and after placing an increase into each one, you will have 12 at the end of this round. So work your way back to your stitch marker, placing 2 single crochets into every stitch along the way. All right, just like this. So you should be having a piece that looks a little something like mine. I'm just pulling some yarn up here. Should be looking a little something like this, and you should have 12 stitches all the way around. Go ahead and pop out that stitch marker, and you are going to place a single crochet into the first stitch, and then you can replace your stitch marker. And then you're going to place an increase into the second stitch. So 2 single crochets into that second stitch. That's going to be your repeat all the way around. So you're going to do a single crochet, and then you're going to do an increase. A single crochet, and an increase. And you are going to repeat that until you get back to your stitch marker. That's going to take you from 12 stitches around to 18 stitches around. So when you get to the end of this round, you should have 18 stitches. If that helps you to make sure that you're on track, you are welcome to stop and count them. And you should end the round on an increase. So you'll know that you are on the right track if you are getting back to that stitch marker, and this last stitch before it is an increase stitch. Okay? The next round is going to be very similar, but this time we're going to do a single crochet in the first stitch, a single crochet in the second stitch, and an increase in the third stitch. I just want to take a minute to remind you guys that there is in the little settings section of this video, the little gear icon, if you click it, it's shaped like a gear. There is a playback speed section there, setting there, and you can adjust the playback speed of this video. So if I'm moving too quickly for you or too slowly for you, you can always feel free to speed me up or slow me down. And of course, you can always rewind and rewatch parts of it. So the repeat for this round is 2 single crochets and then an increase. So that is just all I'm doing, is working a single crochet, and then an increase. And you're just working that all the way around. But yeah, you can always feel free to adjust the playback speed to suit your needs, and of course skip around in the video if you need to rewatch portions of it or anything like that. Use this to, you know, however works the best for you. All right, and then when you get to the end of this round, you will have 24 stitches. So if you're keeping count, you'll have 24 stitches. You're also going to be ending on an increase again. So this last stitch right before your stitch marker is going to be an increase again. Now we're going to do the same thing that we just did. We're going to do 1 more single crochet before doing our increase. So this round it's going to be 3 single crochets and then an increase. So I placed 1 single crochet, a second single crochet, a third single crochet, and then an increase. And you're just going to repeat that all the way around now. 3 single crochets and then an increase, and you're going to do that all the way around till you get back to your stitch marker. And as you get to that final stitch here before your stitch marker, you'll be ending on an increase again, and you will have 30 stitches at the end of this round. So the same as when we were doing the arms, the inside of your work is going to be this side with the magic circle tail, which, you know, this is not very cupped yet, so it's not really that big of a deal, but as you're going, you will want to cup it up so that this is on the inside. All right, so we are going to be doing this next round with 4 single crochets and then an increase. So I'm going ahead and popped that stitch marker out and put a single crochet, and I'm replacing it because that's the first stitch of my round. And then I am going to do 3 more because I need to have 4 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an increase, and that is going to be our repeat for the round. So you're just going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then pop that increase in there. And you're going to work this all the way around so you get back to your stitch marker, doing your 4 single crochets and then an increase. And you are going to have 36 stitches when you get to the end of this round. And as you come to this final stitch, you're going to be doing an increase. And then for our next round, we are going to work one more round with an increase in it. So we are going to do 5 single crochets and then an increase. And that is going to be the repeat for the next round. So you can go ahead and pop that stitch marker out, get that single crochet in there, and then replace it. And then go ahead and do 4 more single crochets along with that one that you just put your stitch marker in, so that you have 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you're placing an increase. So those 2 single crochets into that same stitch, and then you just start over. Do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, go ahead and repeat that until you get all the way around. And when you meet me back, we will be moving on to the next step of our body. All right, and we are ending the round on an increase. And you will have 42 stitches around at the end of this round. Now we are done increasing, and we are going to do 2 rounds of just straight up single crochets. So you can go ahead and pop that stitch marker out and replace it. And then you are going to single crochet in each of those 42 stitches around until you get back to your stitch marker. And then you'll do it one more time. You'll just do 2 rounds all the way around of just single crochets. So go ahead and do that and then meet me back. Once you've worked your way around doing single crochets for 2 rounds, we will be on to round 8, and you should be looking a little something like this. For round 8, we're going to go ahead and pop that stitch marker out and place our single crochet for the beginning of the round. And you can replace it. We are going to be doing 5 single crochets in total. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to be doing an invisible decrease. So if you've never done an invisible decrease before, the way that you do it is you decrease, but you're only going to be working in the front loop onlys. So similar to how we did back loop onlys when we were working on the arms, you are going to be working under only the front loop. So typically you work under the top of the whole stitch like this. But for the front loop only, you are going to work under only this front loop that is closest to you. All right, so we're going to go under that front loop just like this, and then don't yarn over or anything. You're going to go ahead and go under the next stitch's front loop as well. So that gives you a total of 3 hoops on your hook. Then you yarn over, and you're going to pull through both of those front loop onlys that we just went through. And then yarn over again and pull through both. Don't worry, I will show you that again. So go ahead and single crochet 5, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to do that invisible decrease, okay? So we're going to grab the front loop only, go to the next stitch and grab the front loop only, yarn over and pull through both of those front loops, yarn over and pull through these 2 loops that are on your hook. And that is going to be the repeat for the round. So you are just going to do 5 single crochets and then do a decrease. And you're going to do that all the way around until you get back to your stitch marker. When you get back to your stitch marker, you should be ending that round on a decrease. You're going to have 36 stitches all the way around at the end of that round. And this next round is just going to be some single crochets. So you are just going to work a single crochet into each stitch, each of the 36 stitches around until you get back to your stitch marker. And that will be round 9. So go ahead and work round 9, which is just single crochets. Once you finished round 9 doing your single crochets, you can go ahead and pop out that stitch marker. We are going to be placing 4 single crochets into our project, and then we are going to do a decrease. So go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, and 4 single crochets, and then work your invisible decrease. And that is going to be the repeat for the round. You are just going to do 4 single crochets and decrease. And you're going to do that all the way back until you get to your stitch marker. 4 and decrease. Just like that. And this is round 10. When you get back to your stitch marker, you will be looking at 36 stitches around. So go ahead and continue until you get back to that stitch marker. Alright, and when you have worked your way around for round 10, you're going to be ending on a decrease stitch there. And you are going to have 36 stitches all the way around. Now you're just going to do a couple rounds of single crochets only. So go ahead and work 2 rounds of 36 single crochets. We are getting close to the end of our body, and we will be working those arms in soon. So go ahead and do those 2 rounds of single crochets and make sure you've got your arms ready, and I will show you how to work them in to the body. And then you will be ready to move on to the head. So coming along very nicely now. And now that you have worked your 2 rounds of single crochets, we are going to go ahead and work our arms in. So what I'm going to show you is you can do your arms however you want based on how you want your plushie to look. So let me show you this one that I have finished. So you'll notice that the arms are about halfway on both sides, but I actually have them slightly more towards the front than the back because I think that that looks cute. So it's really just up to you and how you would like to position it. I just kind of eyeball it and see where I would like them. So I'm going to go ahead and single crochet. You probably don't need your stitch marker anymore. You can just set that to the side. I'm going to go ahead and throw some single crochets into here. Not any specific amount, just to get myself a little bit past the back there. So if you want to throw in like 10 single crochets or something, just to move yourself away from the back of your work a little bit. And then this can be the side. So to work your first arm in, you're going to want to decide which way you want your arm to face. So pick which way you'd like it to face. This is completely up to personal preference. I like it to slightly angle to the front, so you'll notice that the arm is slightly angled. I like it to kind of, angle to the front a little bit, so it kind of looks like how, your arms hang when you are existing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting this little tail inside of my work, and you can just set it wherever you want to, just to get it out of your way, but it'll go inside of your work when you're finished. We're going to go into the first stitch across the top. Remember, we worked 5 single crochets across the top of that. And then we are going to go into the next stitch on the body. So go through the first stitch on your arm, and then look at your body here and see where your next stitch is, and you're going to go through that. Then make sure that you're yarning over with your current working yarn that's attached to the skein and not that little tail of yarn that you're sticking inside of here. And you're just going to single crochet right through that arm and through the body. All right, and you're going to do the same thing in all 5 stitches. So go into that next stitch on the top of the arm, and then go into the next stitch on your body. So you'll be working 5 single crochets across this arm and into the body at the same time. And that is how you attach an arm without having to sew it. And it is always nice to not have to sew something on. That's my prerogative anyways. All right, and that is the final stitch there. So doing that 5th single crochet, and then look at that, you've got that arm attached on there and you didn't even have to sew it. And look how cute. So then it's, like I said, it's just all up to personal preference. If you want your arms to be more forward or more back or kind of right in the middle, you can sort of eyeball it and figure it out. I will let you know how many stitches I do. So I've got my arm there, and let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I'm going to just do a little test and see how it would look if I put it here. Probably going to want to go a little bit further than that, but it never hurts to check. And don't forget, you're going to want to put that first stitch lined up with the stitch on the body, and that'll help you to know where you want to place it. So like if I wanted them to be more forward, I might want to place it right now, but I want to go a little bit further. So I'm going to throw a few more stitches in. 8, 9, and 10, and then let me test that. And the thing is, if you test it and you don't like it, you can always take away stitches. It's very easy to just remove some stitches. So this is really just up to personal preference. And you may even want to do it different every time, you know, depending on how you want your penguin to look. All right, got that lined up. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that looks good to me. So I am going to do 10 stitches in between attaching my arm and starting to attach the next one. So if you would like to do the same exact way that I am, then you can do the same. And then this time I'm going to face the arm the other way because I want it to face inwards too. So I'm flipping it the other direction. But this is all up to personal preference. You can face the arms however you would like to. But that's going to put my little tail over here, right? I think that's how I want my arms. Yeah. Okay, so my tail is going to be on the far side this time. And I am going to work into the 5th stitch. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 stitches across the top. So I'm going to start in the 5th stitch this time. And then I am going to go into that next body stitch and just single crochet right through both. And if you would like to, you can sandwich them together and work through both that way, or you can continue to go through the stitches on the arm and the stitches on the body separately. It's just whatever is comfortable for you. And then you're going to have 5 stitches that you worked with the body and the arm together. And then you're going to take that tail and stick it into the body. And you'll just continue to single crochet past it, kind of locking it in there. And then I'm just going to single crochet until I get to around the middle of the back. And that is just going to be what I consider the beginning of my round. Because this part's really not that picky about where you're beginning and ending. So there you have it. Here is what we are looking like with our little penguin arms. Super, super cute. And you have finished the body. So the next part that we are going to be working on is the head. So go ahead and grab your skin tone colored yarn. And so for example, on this penguin, that would have been, the skin tone was black and the off color was white. So go ahead and grab those two colors. You're also going to still need your outfit color just a little bit at the end when we're working on the head, but you will need your skin color and then your off color first. Also, if you are using a safety beak, go ahead and grab that and some safety eyes. If you're not using a safety beak, that's totally fine. I will show you how to make a little beak out of just a little bit of yarn. So go ahead and grab that little bit of orange yarn. And go ahead and grab your polyfill while you're at it. You're just going to kind of want to grab everything. And meet me back for the next step. You don't need to leave a long tail if you don't want to for this part, because when we go to sew the head on, we will leave a long tail on the head to sew that on with. So to begin our head, you are going to grab your skin colored yarn. This is the part that's traditionally black on a penguin, so whatever color you would like to use. You're going to start out by making a magic circle and crocheting 6 single crochets into the magic circle. So believe it or not, this part of the tutorial is actually the same as the beginning of the body. That first part that we did to get the body going is actually the same thing we are going to be doing to get our head going. So we are going to start out by doing 6 single crochets into there. I'm giving you guys a little insider scoop. Ignore the rest of my notes on here. But if you would like to be able to work on this a little more quickly on your own, there we go, I focused it for you. We're going to start out by doing 6 single crochets. We're going to have a round where we increase in every stitch. We're going to have a round where we single crochet increase, single crochet 2 increase, single crochet 3 increase, single crochet 4 increase. And then once we get to there, we're going to do a round of single crochets, and then it's going to get wonky and weird because we're making a penguin face. But if you would like to, you can either rewind and follow along with the beginning part of the body, or you can just screenshot that and then you have that as little notes. But I am going to go ahead and start doing this. 4, 5, and 6. But like I said, if you need me to walk you through that again, you can just go ahead and rewind to go to the part where we were working up the beginning of the body. Literally just right from the beginning all the way until you get done with that round where we were doing 4 single crochets and an increase. That'll be the last one that you do. So go ahead and do that and then meet me back. I will, to make this a little bit easier for you, I will go through and get the timestamps for you for when the body begins, and I'll put it in the description box below this video so that you can just click on the timestamp to quickly go back to that part. But there's no reason for me to sit here and show you how to do that again when I just showed you. So go ahead and do that and meet me back. All right, and now that you have increased your way up till you got to the round where you did 4 single crochets and then an increase, you'll be ending here on an increase, and you will have 36 stitches all the way around. We are going to be doing a round of just single crochet now, and we will be getting into our off color too after this round. So make sure you've got that handy. That's going to be what is customarily the white portion of the penguin's face. So let me show you that real quick. All right, so we have been working with the skin tone, and we are going to be working with the skin tone and this off color, whatever color you choose to do. Like I said, it is customarily white. So just so that you know which part of the penguin that we're working on. And this round is just single crocheting in every stitch all the way around. Got my stitch marker in that first stitch so that I can just crochet all the way around, and it will be 36 single crochets. So this is the top of the head of our penguin, and as we work on the next parts, it will start to round off. I know it looks a little flat at the moment, but that's just the top of the head. And then the only sewing that you're going to have to do for this pattern is just attaching the head to the body. But it is super easy because we end with the same stitch count. And so when we get to that part, you literally just line the head up where you want it, you know, facing. And then you're just sewing the stitches together. Like they have the exact same stitch count. You could even crochet them together if you wanted to, but it would leave a little seam. But that is actually an option. If you really wanted this to be a no-sew pattern, that is something you could do. And if you're making a little scarf for your penguin, then you may not even care if you have a little seam. And it'd be very easy to make a scarf for this penguin. You could just do a chain and then, you know, single crochet back and forth on that chain until you got it to the thickness you want. Probably just like 2 rows. So, very fun, very customizable little guy, and very easy. All right, that gets us back to our stitch marker with our single crochets. That was round 7, so you still have 36 stitches all the way around, and you're going to remain having 36 stitches all the way around over the course of the next few rounds when we're bringing in that new color. So for round 8, we are going to start out with the color that we are currently using, and we are going to do 13 single crochets. So make sure you count that one that you just put, you know, your stitch marker into. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Now for this 13th stitch, I am not going to finish the single crochet since I'm going to be doing a color change. I'm stopping halfway through, which is just, let me show you real quick. That way if you need it to be seen from the beginning, you easily can. You're going to go in just like you would do a single crochet normally and pull that loop up, but instead of yarning over and pulling through both of those to finish your single crochet, you're just going to yarn over in that secondary color for your face. Same way that we did it for the arms. Same way we did the color change for the arms. And then you're just going to put your new color on your hook, and then you can hold on to this color that you were working with too, and just pull this new color through. And what I like to do when I'm switching to a new color is I like to take my tail and tie it, and you can tie it with this working yarn, this skin tone that you're currently using if you'd like to. And you can even just do like a simple little, that type of a knot without, you know, doubling it or anything, but I just think it feels a little bit more secure. So we are going to be working with this secondary color. For mine, it's going to be white, so I'm just going to say white. We're going to be doing a couple of single crochets. We're going to do 3 single crochets, but we are going to carry this blue for me, or whatever your body color is, along with us. So you're going to want to take that body color that you have and hold it against your work so that you crochet over it. So hold it against where these single crochets are. You're going to go in and single crochet, but you notice that I have this tail, this working yarn that I'm using that's the skin color sandwiched up here so that I'm actually crocheting over it too. So inside of my work here, I'm carrying this color with me. See how this works? You're crocheting right over it. So you're still crocheting into the work, but you're carrying that color with you. Just like this. For this third single crochet, we are going to be switching back to our body color. So you're going to go ahead and not finish the single crochet, but stop here when you've got these 2 loops, yarn over in that color we've been carrying, and then it finishes with you being on the color that you're going to want to use now. And we're going to do the same thing with our white or whatever color you're using for your face. We are going to carry that along with us. And we are going to do 4 single crochets in our skin tone color, which for me is blue. And you see that I'm working right over this other yarn. I just have it lined up with my work. And I'm doing those single crochets and just ignoring it completely. All right, so that was 3 stitches. We're going to do 1 more. So we have 4, but we're going to stop partway through and switch colors, and that will end us with the face color that we want. All right, and then now we are going to do 3 more colors, or sorry, 3 more single crochets, and we're going to carry that that face color with us. So you can go ahead and do, oops, sorry, we want to carry the face color with us, not the, or carry the skin tone with us, not the face color. Here we go. We're going to do 3 single crochets in this white. And then we're going to end this last single crochet with yarning over into our new color, which is our body color. All right, and that is it for the white this round. You have 2 options at this point. You can either cut your yarn, and then when you get back around and you need to do more white, you can just reattach on. Or if you would like to, you can just carry that other yarn through. I'm just going to carry it along with me so that I don't have to reattach on. But the last time I made one, I did reattach on each round. I went ahead and just cut off at this point and then reattached when I got back around. The same way that I already showed you how to do it, you know, how to bring in a new color. But honestly, I don't feel like it really takes any less yarn that way, because you have little tails that you're leaving each time on both ends, and then you have to actually go through adding a new color every time. So personally, I just find it to be, it makes a little more sense to me to just carry my color with me. But now you're just single crocheting all the way back to your stitch marker, and this is going to be 13 single crochets. And that is the first round where we're including our face. So if it looked intimidating to you and you were like, oh, how are we going to do that? Now you know you can do it because you just did. And then we're just going to be doing a little bit more of the same, you know, slightly different stitch counts, but same techniques that you just learned, so you can do it. All right, we've made it back to our stitch marker, so I'm just going to go ahead and pop that out. I'm going to continue carrying this color with me and working in my penguin skin tone in this blue. I'm just throwing 2 single crochets before I put my stitch marker into the first one, just because sometimes it's easier to throw it back a stitch into the first one. This next round, let me switch pages of my notes. Okay, this next round we are going to single crochet 12. So don't forget the ones that you've already done. If you placed just your stitch marker already, that's 1 stitch. So I've got 2 already, and I need to have 12. There's 5. And just so you know, there is nothing wrong if you would prefer to cut off and reattach each time, because you can just use those tails as stuffing in your head. of your penguin. So if you would prefer to cut off and reattach every time the way that we did when we attached on with our white, definitely go for it. Like I said, I did that on my other one, so there were just lots of tails on the inside of the head. But I just found that I think it's probably just as good to just continue to carry it around, honestly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And making sure I don't finish this stitch all the way because I want to yarn over that last yarn over in my new color. And then I'm going to be working this color and carrying my skin tone this time. And I'm trying to keep myself from tangling these up too much while I'm doing this, so I'm being kind of aware of how I'm switching colors. There we go. I'm going to do it like that, just to keep myself from tangling up all of my tails. Once you get to here, you have your 12 single crochets in your skin color. You're going to switch over into your white or whatever color you're using for your face, and you are going to single crochet 5. Don't forget to work over your tail here, because you'll want that skin tone when you get to the middle between the little face color sections. 3, 4, and 5, and not finishing that stitch all the way so I can yarn over in my skin tone. And just like that. And then I'm going to be switching so that I'm carrying my white and working my blue. And we are going to do 2 single crochets in the blue, or whatever color you're using for your body tone. So your skin tone. And then not finishing that second stitch all the way and switching back to my white. All right. Now I'm going to carry the blue again, and I'm going to do 5 single crochets in my white. Sorry, there's a little cat hair got stuck in there. Life with pets. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I like to stop every now and then and just give a little tug on the color I'm carrying so that it stays nice and tight, and that'll keep you from seeing it through. If you let it get like a little loose as you're going and you don't pull on it every now and then, you might start to kind of see it bunching up. So just a little tip of how I like to do it. And then for this last stitch, I am going to be yarning over into my skin tone. And then I'm back to carrying the white, and then just using the skin tone and finishing out the rest of this round, which will be 12 single crochets. And I'm just going to carry that white with me. Three. Giving a little tug on my white there. You saw it was starting to bunch up. Oops, I grabbed onto my white a little bit when I did that stitch. Make sure I hold that a little tighter. But it's really not hard to work over another color, so that's just the way that I'm opting to do it. And depending on what colors you're using, your colors may show through more, and so that might make it a very easy decision for you. Completely up to you. And just like that. All right, and moving on to round 10. We are going to do 12 single crochets in our skin tone here. And this is actually going to be the same thing you're going to do this round and the next 2 rounds after the exact same way. So I'm going to show you how to do it once, and then you can repeat it 2 more times. So we're going to do 12 single crochets, and 11 and 12, but not finishing out that stitch all the way because I want to yarn over in my white. And then you're going to work over this blue tail, or whatever color you're using, and you're actually going to do 12 stitches in your face color. So just the same amount of stitches you just did in your skin color, but you're doing them in your face color now. Another tip, if you're wanting to hide that color a little bit better, is is to kind of put it towards the inside of your work and crochet over it with it being on the inside of your work. It'll kind of keep the yarn behind your stitches a little bit as you go. The reason I wasn't doing that was because it's easier for me to show you what I'm doing if you can see the color kind of on the top, but that will put it a little bit more hidden. So if you see it peeking through a little bit here, then go ahead and do that. It doesn't make a huge difference, but you know, every little bit helps. So we are just doing 12 single crochets in our white. And I believe that that was 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then I have my 12th on my hook, and I'm just yarning over into my body color. And then do the same thing. You're just going to crochet over your white tail here and do 12 stitches in your body color. So that is round 10, and like I said, 11 and 12 are going to be the same thing. You're just going to do 12 stitches in your body color, 12 in your face color, and then 12 in your body color. So for me, I did 12 blue, then 12 white, and then 12 blue again. So go ahead and finish out this round. And then, like I said, do 2 more rows where you just do the 12, the 12, the 12, and then meet me back. Okay, and once you get back to your last stitch back here with your 12, you are actually going to be done with your skin tone and with your white yarn. So you can go ahead and cut off both of those. If you've already finished over here and you cut off your white yarn already, that's totally fine, but if not, go ahead and cut it now. But I'm going to leave myself just a tiny bit of tail because I am going to be attaching on a new color. And it's going to be our outfit color. We're going to have that again. So I'm leaving this loop on my hook. However, I'm going to go ahead and swap my yarns over here. Before we switch to our skin tone, we can go ahead and attach our eyes and sew on our beak. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull up on my hook a little bit so that I can take my hook out, leaves myself that nice loop there. And I'm going to go ahead and show you where to attach your eyes. So you're going to want to work your eyes kind of centered in the middle of either side. If you view these kind of as, you know, 2 halves split down the middle, just kind of think of these as their own 2 sides. You're going to kind of want to center them. And then also it depends on how you do your beak. If you do a safety beak, you'll definitely want to center this, which is pretty easy to see because you're going to go smack down in the middle right there. And then, you know, obviously right before your face ends, your beak needs to be done too. So you guys can kind of see how I placed them on here, if that helps you. And then I will show you guys how I'm going to place them on this one. So I'm going to be sewing a beak onto this one, but I'm going to place my eyes first to kind of give me a little something to go off of for my beak as well. So I think that I will put that right there. Let's see. Yeah, that looks like about, I'm looking at my other one that I made, and this looks like about the spot that I put my other one in, and I really like the placement of that. So it is, you see there's 2 rounds of white right here, and then you're placing it on the right on the other side of this 3rd round of white. So it's the first round where you go all the way across. I placed it right under there. So let me take this out and I'll show you again. All right, so this first round where you have your skin tone, it's under that, and it is 3 stitches from the side, it looks like, right here. Okay, and if you're using cute kawaii eyes like me, you can face these any direction you want. It kind of changes the facial expression depending on which way you do it. So let's see, and about 3rd, I think that's going to put me about right there. And then I just need to decide how I want to orientate my eyes this time before I go locking them into place. It's easier to spin them before you lock them in. Let me look at my other one. I haven't stuffed the head yet because I'm going to do the eyes first. So I'm also kind of looking at, you know, and imagining it stuffed. I'm wondering if maybe I should go over 1 more stitch. Let's see what that looks like. If I go 1 more stitch in. This is really just up to personal preference where you'd like your eyes to be placed. And you, if you would like to, you can always attach your beak first. That's totally up to you. All right, I think that looks good for me. And then I'm going to go ahead and lock them into place with the safety backs. And you just push them on. With these little ones, I don't need to use a safety eye tool to put them on because they're very easy to push on. But if I was using larger eyes, then I would probably need a safety eye tool because those ones are so hard to get on for some reason. But there we go. It's looking so cute already. Let me make sure this is focused for you guys. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and grab our orange yarn, and you're just gonna want like a little length of yarn. This will be perfect for a scrap yarn, and also you don't have to use orange, same as, you know, the rest of this project. Feel free to use whatever colors you want to. And then you're gonna want to put this onto your darning needle to sew. We're gonna be sewing on the beak. So whatever your preferred needle is, go ahead and grab that and put your yarn onto it. I'm using a bent tip metal needle because I really like these ones. And this is a darning needle. So you can get these on like Amazon and stuff if you're curious, because I know sometimes people are like, oh, where do you get those? I got it on Amazon. Just search bent tip darning needle or something along that lines. So what I'm going to do for the nose is I just want to look and see, or the beak, sorry. You just want to look and see where you want it to kind of start and end. Well, since it's a beak, I'm basically going to start and end right at the end of the eyes. Now what I'm going to do is, and this is why it's so nice to do this before we sew the head on, I can just poke up right here, right where I want my beak to start. And look how easy that is because we haven't sewn this on yet. And then I'm just going to pull through a very good length. I'm going to leave myself some yarn, that way I can use it to tie with in a little bit. And, you know, also to keep it from popping through. And then I'm just going to go over here to about the same spot, and I'm going to pull down. And I'm going to pull my yarn through. And you can do this, you can repeat this as many times as you want to get like the thickness of beak that you want. And also you can pull this out and redo it if you're not happy with the placement. So I feel like my placement could be a little bit further over on that side or a little bit further away on this side. So I need to kind of look at this and decide how I want to do that. Do I like it closer to the eye or further from the eye? I'm thinking I might like it a little further from the eye like I did on that side. So I'm actually just going to take this and undo it. And I had gone through right there, so I'm going to try going through 1 stitch earlier and see what I think about that. And you can either do it the way that I just did if you're undoing it, where you put your needle back through, or you can take your needle off and just pull the yarn back through. All right. So what do I think of that? You know, that's a smaller beak, but I actually think it looks really cute being a smaller beak. So I think I'm going to go with a smaller beak than I did before. So this was the size of the safety beak. And keep in mind, like I said, that this one is not stuffed yet, so the face shape will be changing a little bit. But now all you're going to do is, once you've got that figured out how you want, you're not going to pull it super taut. You want it to have a little bit of play to it. And then you're just literally going to go back into that same stitch you started in, and you're going to repeat the same thing until it's the thickness that you want. So I'm probably going to do it like 3 times to get a nice, like, puffy little beak here. But this is like the easiest thing ever, to just do a little beak. But the key here is not to pull it super tight. You want it to have a little bit of a puffiness to it. You know, 2 actually might be perfect. 2 might be perfect. You know what? Yeah, I like 2. So I'm done already. I just did it twice. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this a little because I got myself an exorbitantly long tail. I'm actually just going to knot these 2 together on the inside, my starting and ending tails, because then they're nice and secure and very, very easy to nicely secure. Just make sure you don't tie them too tight, because you don't want to pull your beak too tight in the front. And if you pull this really tight on the inside, then you will tighten up your beak. But then, boom, that is going to be adorable. I love it. Okay, so now that you have done your beak, if you're still working on it, you can feel free to pause. Now that you have done your beak, we are going to go ahead and attach back on here. And you're going to want to grab your outfit color of yarn again. And then we are just going to work the first half of a single crochet to add on our new color. So go through the next stitch, pull up a loop, and then yarn over in your new color and pull through. And then I'm just going to tie together this yarn tail and the end of the new color's tail that I'm putting on. And for this very last round of crochet that you have for the entire project, actually, you have 2 different options. So you can either single crochet in every stitch around, or you can single crochet 4 and decrease and have that be your repeat. It will make a very slightly different shape to your penguin, and I will pop up the picture of the 2 different shapes that it can make. The blue one with the black is with the single crochet 4 decrease, and the one that I'm currently working on, I'm doing just single crochets. And what this will change is, for the sewing step, it's still super straightforward and easy for both of them. But if you do the single crochet 4 decrease, you will have the exact same number of stitches at the bottom of the head as you do at the top of the body. So it makes sewing them together very straightforward. They line up. If you do it with just doing single crochets this round, you will have to do a little bit of including more than one stitch together when you're sewing them, if that makes sense, which I will show you how to do when I'm sewing it together. But like I said, completely up to you. If you want it to be super easy, I'd probably recommend doing the single crochet 4 decrease, but both of them are really simple. And I will show you how to do it if you just do the single crochets. So pick which shape you would like, and then do that repeat for the round. Work your way all the way around until you get back to where we started, and you have finished the sewing portion of, or the crocheting portion, sorry, of this project. All right, and I have made my way back around. To tie off, I'm going to chain 1. I like to chain 1 when I tie off because it makes a little knot. You know what? I'm actually going to do a slip stitch over to the stitch, and then I'm going to chain 1. You can tie off however you like to, though. And then I'm going to leave myself a nice long tail, probably way longer than it needs to be, but I'd rather it be longer than shorter. And I'm going to pull up on my hook And we are done with the crochet portion of this project. So there's our little penguin face. Go ahead and grab our little penguin body and then grab your stuffing. Okay, once you have your stuffing, go ahead and pull off a clump of it. We're going to start with stuffing the body. And don't forget, you always want to kind of shred up your stuffing a little bit so that it's not one big clump that you pull out. This will make your plushies have a less lumpy body. If you just pull out big fistfuls of stuffing and shove them in there, that's how you're going to get those lumps that you don't want. So since we're not crochet or sewing with this tail, you can just stick this tail inside the body and then you can just start stuffing. And you're going to want to make sure that you stuff very thoroughly and fully. If you would like to help your penguin be able to stand, you might want to weight the bottom. I did weight the bottom on the other one that I did, so let me go ahead and grab something out of my drawers over here. And I will show you real quick how to weight the bottom of it in case that is something that you're interested in doing. Okay, so if you're interested in weighting the bottom of this, you're actually going to do that before you stuff it. Or if you would like to, you can throw a little bit of stuffing in, but you want the weight to be at the butt of your project. So what you want to do is grab something that is going to add a little bit of weight to the bottom that you don't mind being in your project. So a lot of times I use river rocks, but I just recently used up my river rocks and I went and grabbed some of these little aquarium, I don't know if you want to call these rocks, but like little aquarium things that are at the Dollar Tree, and these work perfectly. They're literally $1 or $1.25 now, and you just throw a few of them into the bottom of your work. You can throw out however many in that you want to. If you want it to have a little bit of weight to it, you might want to throw a little bit more in, but that's going to keep it so that it doesn't fall over. So I threw 6 in there. You don't necessarily need 6. Honestly, any that you put in, anything with any amount of weight is still going to be more weight than just your polyfill. So it's still going to give it a better chance of standing up than not having it in there. And then I already shredded up this polyfill before I stuck it in a second ago, if you remember. So that's the reason I'm not shredding it up right now. You're just going to fill your bottom with polyfill. And you want to stuff it really well, but I understand that there is a big hole up at the top. So just stuff it to the best of your ability, really get in there, make sure it's filling out the bottom entirely. You want to go all the way to the bottom and get in all those little nooks and crannies, because if you just shove it in there and then hope that it makes its way to the bottom as you push on it, that is how you end up with an unevenly stuffed project. So really getting in there, kind of holding on to the side here and running your fingers along the seams, along the sides, and just pushing down on that polyfill, that is going to get you a nicely shaped project. Once you've got that most of the way stuffed, don't worry about the very top of it. We will stuff that as we go. You are going to do the head. Now, you can do the same thing for the head if you would like to, minus weighting it. You don't want to weight the head because you don't want it to sit on its head. And the whole point of weighting it is so that it is more likely to sit up with that weighted part on the bottom. But the head is a lot more spherical in shape, so the polyfill is probably not going to want to stay in very well. So you can either begin to stuff it now, or you can wait and stuff it when, begin to stuff it when we get a little bit further into the sewing. That is totally up to you. All right. And then the way that I'm going to sew these together is, I know where the center of the back is because that's where I ended. And this is also the center of the back because of the way that we worked them. So it makes it really easy for you to line up your project, because you literally just line up the center of the back and the center of the front and you are centered. I'm just literally going to sandwich these two pieces together, just like this. And the way that I like to crochet my pieces together is to grab a back loop or a front loop, this loop that's closest to you, and then grab a front loop on the other piece so that I'm crocheting in just those front loops only. And then it's just a matter of making little loops. So going through and pulling so that you're making a loop. So this part is pretty much the same, depending on whether you did the single crochet 4 decrease for the last round of the head or the single crochets. The only difference is going to be if you did the decrease, you will have the same number of stitches on the head and the body there. So you'll just line up your two stitches and do your looping them together all the way around. If you did the single crochet round for the last round of the head, you'll occasionally want to do this, where you go from the same stitch on the body that you just had worked together with the head and go over one on the head and kind of pull them together. And that's just going to kind of cinch the head in a little bit. And you'll just want to do that occasionally throughout while you're attaching the head on. So really simple, not a big deal at all. It just is going to cinch the head in a little bit as you go. And you get down to just a little section, maybe like an inch or two, meet me back, probably like 2 inches. Meet me back and I will show you how to finish off your project. All right, and when you get back to this part where you have about 2 inches here, you're going to want to stop for a minute and grab your polyfill and work on stuffing both the head and the body. Now, the reason that you want to do it this way is so that you get a really nice stuffing. You want to stuff firm to keep your shape. So you're just going to, through this hole, work your way around the head, work your way around the body, feel it out, make sure it's nicely stuffed. And then as you work on closing up the remaining of this hole, you're actually going to stuff the neck too. So you'll throw a little bit of stuffing in the neck as you go. But right now, go ahead and stop and work on stuffing the head and the body. Even if you did stuff them before you began sewing, you're going to want to make sure you add some more stuffing to them to get that nice, you know, amigurumi shape, that nice penguin shape. So go ahead and do that, and you know, stop every now and then, look at your head, look at your body, kind of feel them, see if you feel any spots that need more stuffing. You can manipulate your stuffing by massaging it around, and really shape out your plushie. But then you're just going to, like I said, as you work on shutting this hole, you're going to add stuffing to the neck. And that's it. That's all you have left to do on your penguin, and then you're done. And there you have it. You have successfully made your very own little penguin. So I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope that you love your new little penguin. And don't forget to become a member of my community by hitting that subscribe button. And if you'd like to get notifications, make sure you hit that little bell icon next to the subscribe button and turn those on. Hope that you enjoyed your penguin and that you have fun making as many of these as you would like to. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye!